What up, Goofies? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another compilation. So basically, while I make the Scarface mini movie project, whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna post a few compilations to kind of hold you over and give you something to watch while I'm making that. This is the compilation of ranking all the legendary gunslingers. I did exclude the Otis Miller Revolver video since that was already in the gun breakdown compilation, but for now, let's get into the compilation and hope you enjoy it. Ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 6, Emmett Granger. This goofball is number 6 just because of how lame he is. Sure, it's cool that he owns a Luna farm, but his hogwash about killing and gutting folks was annoying to deal with. Granger retired to farming after a string of run-ins with the law, eventually acquiring a federal pardon and owning some land. It's unknown what his exact relationship with Boy Calloway was, but since he never says anything, we can just assume it wasn't important or significant. Granger's duel involves him throwing a knife at the player's dome, but being the cheaters we are, you can delete him before he even pulls out a blade. On my ranking, Emmett Granger gets a fat number 6. Stay tuned for my next ranking of these gunslingers, but until then, let's get into it. I missed out on Granger's revolver, so let's get to it. This cattleman looks similar to John's revolver, just with more engravings. Overall, the revolver looks nice, but at the end of the day, it will be ranked at number 4. The other gunslingers have way better weapons. For now, let's get it. Ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 5, Billy Midnight. Billy Bob, not you, is number 5 because I can't give him any lower or any higher. He's stuck in this limbo, not because he's lame, but because he just isn't as good as the other gunslingers. Bill was a gunslinger that killed the infamous Rabbit Matthews. The game implies that Billy Midnight killed Matthews in his sleep, thus guilt-ridding Bill for life. He's pretty much off a perk the entire time you chase him, and when it's time to duel, he goes nuts. His strategy is just to kneel down and open fire. This makes him a smaller target, but also means if you blind fire, it's an instant headshot because he crouches right into your bullet. In terms of Boy Calloway, it seems Midnight never even heard of him, seeing as he never mentioned him in this altercation. Billy Midnight himself gets the number 5 rank, but his pistol is number 1. I've mentioned it a few times, but the Mauser is one of my favorite pistols in the RDR series. In Red Dead 1, this thing can be shot as fast as you pull the trigger, so you basically had an SMG with 15 bullets. In Red Dead 2, it's a bit nerfed, but it's still one of my favorite pistols to use. Compared to the other revolvers, Midnight's gun is unique enough for me to give it the number 1 spot. That's it for this video, so until next time, let's now get into ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 4, Black Belle. This granny is actually dope. While sure we don't duel her, defending her home is pretty fun. Her maniac personality is what really reminds me of Sadie. Both are women that don't take shit and can handle a gun well. Since we don't duel her, she doesn't have a special gun. At most, she will wield a carbine repeater, though that'll get a number 5 rank. Such a fun mission that has a nice end. We don't kill her and she runs off to do whatever she does. That's it for this ranking, so until next time, where I'll give her my top 3. Let's get it. Ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 3, Boy Calloway. Finally here in the top 3, here we have the boy himself. The entire Stranger mission revolves around getting info about Calloway for Levin's book. At the end, we finally duel this fossil. I'll say that the build up to Calloway is done pretty well. All the other gunslingers comment on how Calloway was considered a coward and usually ran from fights, yet he is the fastest draw in the game. His special tactic is to attempt to blind the player with his belt buckle, showcasing more of his cowardice. The only way to truly win against him is to draw early and cap him while he's tickling his junk. Calloway's revolver is ranked at number 2 for various reasons. First off, it's a Schofield, hitting my boy had fine taste. Next is the engraving Canis Canem edit on it, a reference to Bully. Bully is a top tier game, so another win for Calloway. The pattern on the grip and metal is gorgeous, so this revolver deserves its cozy number 2 spot. Thanks for watching. I'll cover the most liked comments soon, but for now, let's get back into ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 2, Flaco Hernandez. I've waited a while to talk about the GOAT, but we are finally here. Flaco can be found near Careen Lake, also close to Lake Isabella. And online, he's friendly with the protagonists after just messing around with them for a bit. In story mode, he is surrounded by his own band of Del Lobos, which means getting to Flaco needs some persuasion. Or brute force. Once there, Flaco has the funniest reaction to Arthur asking about Calloway. That just shows how much Flaco either hates Calloway or is just tired of intruders. His dueling strategy is hitting some Max Payne bullshit and diving to the side. I capped him easily though because the only brother I want is Speedy Escuela. He deserves the number 2 spot for one reason only. He's a badass Mexican. Is this some bias from a Latino? Of course it is, but he's just too dope. The only thing Skinny lacks is a cool revolver. It's a little too basic for my taste, with the skull engraving barely being visible. But since it belongs to the GOAT, it gets the number 3 spot. That was enough glazing for this ranking, but stay tuned for the honorable mentions. For now, let's get into ranking legendary gunslingers. Honorable mentions, Slim Grant and Frank Heck. Grant is here because he technically is a gunslinger. Hell, he killed Jed Calloway.
You shot Jed Calloway.
Right?
You shot Jed Calloway.
Yeah, okay.
You shot Jed Calloway.
Okay, yeah, we get it. So yeah, Slim exists. Frank Heck is more interesting as he was actually cut from the final mission. His little quest would have involved playing poker with the fella, and it gave the player 2 options. You could be honorable during the match and end up getting a picture and a story out of Heck. Insult him and you'll have to duel him. He is the only legendary gunslinger to have a unique dual draw. You can shoot either gun out of his hand, though we can assume the only way to actually win is to cap him. There's a theory that says the high roller revolver belonged to Heck, being a gambler and all. The description of the gun says that the gun is deadly when dual wielding. And who else pulls out 2 guns to overcompensate? Just a fun idea, but it sucks that Mr. Heck was cut. Being a new Austin, it's possible that he was cut to make sure that Arthur can complete this mission instead of having to put it all for John. That's everything for this one, but stay tuned for the final episode in this series. But now let's get into ranking legendary gunslingers. Number 1, Landon Ricketts. If you guys thought I was glazing in my Flacco video, this is going to be doing tricks on it. Mr. Ricketts is the gunslinger, first appearing in Red Dead 1 during the Mexico chapter. At this point, he's been retired for a while, yet he still manages to drop bar after bar. The only one close to dropping bars like this is Thanos. The missions with Ricketts are simple but still show his skill. You know, the years have only managed to make this man stronger. I like the friendship between John and Landon. It's just a couple of bros running around the barren desert. The two end on good terms, and by the time it's Jack's turn to massacre towns, Ricketts passed away in his sleep. A pretty peaceful end for a gunslinger. What really makes him number 1 is the writing that Rockstar gave him. He's wise in his ways, he's cool, badass, he's dope, whatever, you know, compliment I could give him, he's him. Landon Ricketts is him. The potential for Landon Ricketts to be in Red Dead Revolver 2 or a Red Dead prequel where it's like the peak of the Old West, it's exciting. It could be a really good game. The work Ross Hagen put into Ricketts is amazing. Rest in peace to a legend. That's the final ranking gunslinger video, so I'll recommend any new series or just video ideas in general. As of right now, let's finally get into breaking down legendary gunslingers. First up is Jack Swift. Having played Revolver recently, I'm thinking might as well milk this game for content as well. Think of this as season 2 of my gunslinger rankings, though no actual ranking. This posh gentleman is one of the allies Red will come across on his journeys. He seems to be working as a sharpshooter in Perry's circus before being betrayed. The mission where you play as Jack is one of my least favorites, but it is entertaining seeing Jack cap these little clowns with his insane deadeye. That's what makes him the GOAT. He's seen alongside Red in the Gunslinger tournament and unsurprisingly wins. After launching the assault in the manor, he disappears. It's heavily implied that he died during the chaos, but I just don't believe it. This guy was taken out by some goobers. Anyway, Jack Swift is a great character that really stands out in the world of Revolver. Most people are batshit crazy, but at least Swift is crazy in a fancy way. Anyway, we're getting close to 10k on YouTube, which is crazy, so suggest any specials or something you'd like to see from the channel. But for now, let's get into breaking down legendary gunslingers. Mr. Kelly. By far the coolest villain in Revolver, here we go. This dapper gentleman is one of the hired goons employed by Governor Griffin. Being a 3-time winner of the Duel Royale, his ego would obviously be big. And I can see why this motherfucker is a 3-time winner. I died so many times to this goofball. His duel was one of the hardest duels in the game. I died so many times, the chat tried helping me lower the difficulty. But they don't know me, son. I beat this goober Kelly. And then he got up and it was time for round 2. Here, Kelly shows his ruthlessness as he goes around shooting civilians while fighting Red. After taking this psychopath down, Red and crew take on Governor Griffin. So while Kelly's screen time wasn't long, it still made an impact. Enough for me to dedicate an entire short to this goober. Anyway, that's it. Stay tuned for the hardest challenge to take on in Red Dead 2, live from YouTube. I also want to say sorry about the kind of lack of diversity in shorts. I just haven't had time to sit down and record footage. I have a few planned shorts. I want to do more gun reviews, a horse review. I think someone asked for Missouri Foxtrot or something like that. I want to break down like how corrupt Ross was, but again, I need footage. I can't just download it anymore. But for now, let's get into breaking down legendary gunslingers. Finally, Red Harlow. I'm surprised I haven't made a video on Harlow yet, but here we are. Red Harlow was born to Nate Harlow and falling star of the the Red Wolf tribe. With all this, Harlow's past is a troubled one. His parents were murdered right in front of him when he was just a boy, and has since spent his days moping around collecting bounties. He's been slowly hunting the men that killed his family and took his childhood away from him. He makes a few allies along the way and finally avenges his parents. Red is a legendary gunslinger due to his crazy Deadeye. While Revolver's aged mechanics sometimes get in the way, his Deadeye is still really OP. It essentially brings time to a stop instead of just slowing it down like John or Arthur. Jack Swift is still better, but Red certainly puts up a good fight. Before you all start spamming me about it, yes, the M1899 review is coming out soon, I just need time. I'm also starting a membership soon, so let me know what y'all want for tiers and all that. The website should be coming out soon as well. I just need to, again, set it up. It takes a while taking pictures of every single page of every single comic I've ever made. That's it for now, so let's get into it. That's the whole compilation. Bit of a shorter one, but still hope you enjoyed it. The next one up should be the horse breakdowns, but for now, peace out, stay safe, and goodbye.